could not be better as the referee, Mr. Patrick Robin from France, ready to start this match with the Welsh first 5/8 Mark Ring to get the match underway. Wales playing from right to left in the first half. The side without a win in international rugby at test match level in 1991. 6 matches, 5 losses and a draw. Will they break their duck today? As Mark Ring starts the match, and immediately the ball knocked forward by the big lock forward Kevin Mosley. And Mr. Raban waiting to see if there's any advantage there to the Western Samoans. There wasn't, and so the first scrum of the match, 15 metres outside the 22. Gili Alalatoa, the Samoan prop on the near side, having trouble getting down. Now it's the turn of the Welsh front row, having their problems as well. And we've seen this in most of the World Cup matches to date, where there's usually been problems getting the first couple of scrums down. And Mr. Raban telling Via to get the ball into the scrum, even if it has moved a little off its axis, as he puts it over the top. A testing kick for the fullback, Anthony Clement, but the Samoan players up offside inside the 10-metre circle. The Welsh have the option. And the scrum will take place from where the Western Samoan halfback Matthew Via put that little kick over the top. The Welsh front row of Lawrence Delaney, Kenny Walters the hooker, and Mike Griffiths the loosehead prop. Ball there for Robert Jones, who in turn is going to test the Samoan fullback, but it's a little halfback that goes in and takes it well on the 22. So an early attacking opportunity here for the Welsh. It's the Western Samoan 22, and it's very fast strike, too fast in fact for the halfback, and coming through there was Apollo Perolini, kicks the ball deep. Back there is Clements, and Stephen Basham up very quickly on the Welsh fullback. 24-year-old from Swansea, who has replaced Paul Thorburn, who in fact walked away from the Welsh side disillusioned with the strife that had beset Welsh rugby over the last couple of years, and retiring from the game at the age of 28. And into his place, wearing the number 15 jersey, has come Anthony Clement. Paul May and Mark Arthur Keenan at the front of the lineup, but it was Kevin Mosley in the middle of the lineup who won it for Wales. Richie Collins takes the pass. He's lost it a few metres outside the 22. And those Samoan forwards have been penalised for not staying on their feet. And so the first penalty of the match. And Clement, the Welsh fullback.
Been an encouraging start by Samoa, that if they can just hold their own and hold their position in the first 10 minutes. It's an intimidating place to play, Cardiff Arms Park, and with the crowd behind Wales in these early stages, Samoa have got to hold on.
Pushing in the line out, Kevin Mosley, and an infringement by Kevin Mosley, and so a free kick awarded to Western Samoa, 10 metres inside their own half. Stephen Basham putting it high in the air. That's a good kick from the Western Samoa first by that, giving an opportunity for his forwards to get underneath the ball, but well taken by Richie Collins, the Welsh loose forward, midway 22 and halfway. It's there, quick ball for Jones. Solid tackle made by Tangaloa, but I think he might have been offside. Finger pointed it to Timo Tangaloa, and the Welsh take the tap and decide to move it wide, but the ball has gone astray. But nice hands there from number 13, the youngster Scott Gibbs at centre. Did well to retrieve that awkward pass.
It's interesting that Samoans would go for the up and under from that penalty. B.G. Williams, one of their coaches, has said all along they may struggle in the line-out, so I think they'll do the up and under quite a bit.
Just wanting to keep the ball in play rather than giving the Welsh the opportunity to take the line-out, and so... But the Welsh also, from the free kick, keen to take the ball and run it rather than kick the touch. And an opportunity here for Samoa with this penalty from this very long range. It's the best part of 48 metres for the fullback, Lupo. And while we have a very big crowd here at the National Stadium at Cardiff Arms Park watching this match, no one is, I'm sure, enjoying these pictures more than the many thousands of people watching this match by satellite live back in Western Samoa, watching it on giant screens on a closed circuit satellite. We understand there is the best part of 6,000 or 7,000 people at two venues at Apia, one at the main rugby stadium at Apia Park and another in the town itself, watching this very special occasion for Western Samoa. And I'm sure those 7,000 folk who are watching it will be holding their breaths right now. Chance for Western Samoa. That's a very big kick from Lupo, but it's out to the right, and so the score remains 0-0, and we've had approximately 7 minutes of play. It's a very big kick with that ball, which has often proved difficult for many of the goal kickers to get it near the post from out near the halfway mark, but he had no problems with the length, did this man. And that is another thunderous kick from the Western Samoan fullback. One of the more experienced members in the Western Samoan side, played here 3 years ago when the Western Samoans were beaten 28-6 by Wales. One of 4 players in the Western Samoan side today that played at that match 3 years ago. So the scrum to go down a couple of metres inside the Western Samoan half. Robert Jones, this immensely experienced Welsh halfback, beating the scrum. And Jones from inside his own half, testing the Western Samoan fullback again, but he took it well, anticipated it well. And this is Stephen Bashett running it from his own 22 inside to his centre, to Vaenga. Waiting underneath it is Clem. That's another very good kick from the Samoans. Tangaloa there as well. Now, what has the referee ruled? I think he's ruled that, in fact, the tackle was either early or late.
I thought that was a very harsh decision. I really did. I thought that was a very fair challenge, and Patrick Robban, he's going to be nervous himself, but that was unlucky for Samoa.
Well, I think Mr. Raban has ruled that Tangaloa just got there a fraction too early, but as Jamie Salmon said, and I can't help but agree with him, it certainly seemed a well-timed tackle from a very well-judged kick from Vaenga. As Matthew Vaya, the Western Samoan halfback, kicking the ball over the top.
Would have been a good confidence booster for Samoa, breaking out from their own 22 and gaining 40-50 yards. That sort of confidence may be needed later on in the game when they've got to turn around a deficit or confirm their superiority in the game.
Alalator at the front of the line out for the Samoans, who's come in for Tavita Sio, who had to pull out of the Samoan side after an injury problem once the team was named a couple of days ago. Mark Ring. And it really has been a match so far of testing kicks from the 5/8s, and again Lupo going underneath it, but the ball has gone loose. But Stan Tuomalaita did well to dive on the loose ball. It's there again for the Samoans, and once again showing a lot of maturity under pressure, clearing the ball calmly and quickly, and Brian Lima on the right wing finding his touch. So the Samoans absorbing this early pressure from Wales, and it's been a very steady start by the Western Samoans, and perhaps the most difficult period of this match may well be the first 10 or 15 minutes when they try to come to terms with the atmosphere and the emotion of the moment. But they've certainly started extremely well indeed. Again, Tuomalaita going down on the ball, clearing it quickly for his halfback, and the steady and reliable boot of Stephen Bashett driving the Welshman back towards halfway. I'm sure, Jamie, the fact that the Western Samoans have weathered the storm from the first 10 minutes of this match so well can only act as a real boost to their confidence.
Absolutely. Wales are expected to win this game despite their recent problems, and the closer the game stays, the longer, better it will be for Western Samoa.
Still a long way to go, of course, in the match. Good ball for the Western Samoans. Again, a line-out infringement. And the free kick awarded to Wales, just inside the Western Samoan half. Probably some thought given here to the possibility of a drop kick. Clements, but no. They're going to test the Western Samoan defence again. In goes Pat Lam underneath it. Picked up by Peter Fatialofa. Again to Vire, again to Bishop, and again cleared well by the Western Samoan first 5-8. Very good play indeed. Very well-balanced player, Stephen Bishop. Seems to have plenty of time to do what he wishes to do when he gets the ball, even when he was under pressure there. So the line-out to take place 10 metres inside the Welsh half. Kevin Mosley, the big giant lock forward in the Welsh side, winning lots of ball in the middle of the line-out. It's a loopy throw that goes to the back and finds Phil Davis, and away come the Welsh forwards. This is Amir Lewis up over halfway as the Welsh forwards make 10 or 15 metres. Untidy ball. The Samoans have been penalised for a hand trying to work the ball back when it was on the ground, and an opportunity here for Wales. That more led by the Llanelli policeman, Amir Lewis, who made his debut for Wales earlier this year in the Five Nations Championship. One of the less experienced players in their side, with just 4 caps to his credit.
He is the man, though, that tipping for the top down here in Wales. He really has got a wonderful future, Amir Lewis. He's probably the first name on the forward team list.
Mark Ring, big kick from Ring, but like so many goal kickers here at the World Cup with this plastic ball, having problems with his direction on the long-range kicks.
It'll be interesting how Wales cope with the goal-kicking aspect. Paul Thorburn, despite what he's done in abandoned Wales, was a wonderful goal kicker. And he's going to be very, very difficult to replace, and Ring doesn't do an awful lot of goal kicking these days.
And the Welsh calling for the shortened line-out, 10 metres from the Western Samoan line. It's ball there, it's untidy ball, and again it's snapped up, the loose ball snapped up by the Western Samoans. It's Tuvainga that pounces on it, makes 15 metres up towards halfway, turned back by Vaifala, the loose forward, and Kenny Walters caught offside, and Western Samoa with the penalty inside their own half. So plenty of early pressure from the Welshman, but no points to show for it so far. Stephen Bishop. Again, we see that tactic of the Western Samoans trying to keeping the ball in play. They don't want to get involved in any more lineouts than is necessary. As Peter Fatialofa leading the charge inside the Welsh 22 for the first time, but the ball has gone astray from the Samoan hands, and the Welsh decide to run it from inside their 22 as the fullback Anthony Clement coming up, but taken in a very good tackle 5 metres outside the 22 and taken into touch by Pat Lam is the Welsh loose forward, Amir Lewis. So that tactic again paying good dividends there for the Samoans, not kicking for touch, keeping the ball in play. But the Welsh not afraid to move the ball from inside their own 22, trying to run themselves out of trouble, but a very good tackle there made by Vaifali on the Welsh fullback. Keenan manages to win ball for the Samoans. This is Alalatoa, the prop forward, up to the 22. Mata Apakinen trying to retain possession for the Samoans. It's there as Pat Lam goes looking for the ball, but the whistle had gone. Mr. Raban convinced the Samoans weren't going to win it cleanly.
Samoans got some good options here. They've got a big blind side they can go to, and it looks as though they might do that because Pat Lam's lying in between the lock and the flanker.
And this is really their first opportunity they've had from set piece inside the Welsh half. The long pass to the fullback, but a badly directed pass, and Ialupa has to scurry back and tidy it up. So the Samoans perhaps being just a little too adventuresome with that first attempt to move the ball along the chain.
Yes, they'll be looking to give Tangaloa an early chance with the ball, because he really, with the ball in hand, can certainly motor, and he's so strong as well.
So play back at halfway. We've had just over 15 minutes of play in this first ever World Cup match here at Cardiff Arms. The knock on from the line-out. Phil Davis, this huge man who packs down at the back of the Welsh scrum, 6'4" and 110 kilograms. The Welsh just a little too impetuous to get their scrum down. Mr. Raban being rather charitable there, as Matthew Via, the halfback, to Stephen Bashop, and Bashop this time rolling the ball across the paddock with the wiper's kick and forcing the left wing for Wales, Arthur Emir, to run the ball into touch.
Good kick by Bashop. It gives Samoa the opportunity to have their own line-out options by forcing Wales to take the ball into touch.
And they've decided to opt for the two-man line-out with Mata Afakinen and Mark Vertwitz of their lock forwards, and Apollo Perolini. And rather fortuitously, it was Pat Lam that managed to pick up the pass after it had gone astray. Away goes Fadialopa again. The Western Samoan forwards doing well here, winning good ball. Bashop, Frank Bunce, and those Welsh forwards caught offside, and an opportunity here for Western Samoa to put the first points on the board.
Good break by Frank Bunce. He got over the gain line, enabled the forwards to keep going forward, and Wales, as has been their problems, they've just given away penalties in ludicrous positions, and there was no real need to be offside there and give away a penalty, and there should be no excuses for failing to land this penalty goal and put Samoa 3 points in front.
Some very good work done here by the Western Samoan forwards. The stamp of New Zealand forward play all over this passage of play, and it's Frank Bunce who got round his man and did extremely well then to turn the ball back, and you can see the Welsh forwards ahead of the ball and penalised, and this should be 3 points for Western Samoa.
I think the more the Samoa run at Mark Ring, because he's had a knee operation recently, he's never been known for his defensive qualities, and Bunce cut inside him very comfortably then.
So Western Samoa have changed their goal kicker, 2 shots at goal. Ialupo, the fullback, has been replaced by Matthew Via. And so the new kids on the block, Western Samoa, take the lead in this Pool 3 World Cup match here at Cardiff Arms Park. Ahead by 3 points to 0. Matthew Via, the man who plays his rugby for the Mara St. Pat's Club in Wellington, kicks the goal, and the Western Samoans ahead by 3 points to 0. So that's not the start that the Welsh crowd would be looking for. Desperate to see an upturn in their fortunes today, but having to come from behind, and that's certainly been one of the problems for the Welsh side, that when they are behind, they tend to lose heart very quickly. We saw that most graphically in their matches in Australia earlier this year, but once the Australian teams, New South Wales and the Wallabies in particular, were able to put a few points on the board, the heart and commitment just seemed to go out of the Welsh side. Will it happen again here today at Cardiff Arms Park? Key man in the Welsh line-out, 2-metre Newport player Kevin Mosley. That's ball for Western Samoa, but the little halfback Matthew Via swallowed up by the Welsh forwards pouring through the line-out. This is Frank Bunce taking the pass, and he hasn't found touch, or has he? Yes. It's a very good kick from Frank Bunce, the former Auckland and now North Harbour midfield back, playing at second 5'8" today for Western Samoa. Very elusive player who's had a very good season with the North Harbour side in New Zealand, and one of the key men in their back line this afternoon. He brings to the Western Samoan side some experience. And the loose forward, Sila Vaifali, caught offside, and Wales with the penalty a few metres inside their own half. It's a very big kick, and it's a beautifully judged kick as well from the fullback Anthony Clement. That's a 50-metre kick. An opportunity for Wales to put some points on the board, as close as they've been in the first 21 minutes of this match to the Western Samoan line. Tap by Phil May. The long pass to Mike Hall, but the defence is solid. Good tackle made by Vaenga, the centre three-quarter for Western Samoa, on Mike Hall.
I think Samoa are very unlucky that I thought they were going forward in that maul, and they could quite deservedly have the foot in. I'm surprised the Wales got the chance here to put some points on the board. They may go for a drop goal just to get points on the board and settle themselves down, but they're unlucky, Samoa, with the foot in there.
"22 minutes of the first half gone in this pool 3 match at Cardiff Arms Park between Western Samoa and Wales, with the Samoans ahead by 3 points to 0, and a very intricate move that backfired there by the Welshmen. Just exactly what they were trying to do there, goodness only knows. But it looks like they may well in fact receive a penalty.
As the referees penalised the Samoans breaking early. Robert Jones, the scrum half, on a dummy run, and a couple of Samoans players broke at the same time. But the back row move went horribly wrong for Wales, and they've been saved again by there. You'll see blindside flanker, especially coming off there, and that's what the referee has penalised them for, and otherwise they'd have had a chance to break out. And I think rather fortuitously, Wales have got a chance to get back in the game and settle themselves right down.
The kick, only a matter of 15 metres at the most, for Mark Ring. And he knows the ground well here at Cardiff Arms Park, where he plays his club rugby for the Cardiff side. Levels the scores after 22 minutes of play.
Wales been mighty relieved to get back on equal terms again. The longer it went on behind, the more frustrated they would have got, especially the crowd. Samoa are playing okay. They've just got to keep back in the get back in the Welsh half, and I'm sure they'll get their chances. One of the major problems about Wales has been the fact they give away far too many penalty kicks at goal. And if Samoa can get a couple of those, then who knows what might happen.
Phil Davies to the right, and Phil May waiting for Alupo to restart play from halfway. Penalty apiece in the first quarter of the match. Alupo, a very sweet kicker of the ball, kicks deep. Ian Evans, who I think probably hasn't touched the ball in the first 20 minutes of the match. There he is, the captain of the Welsh side today, replacing Paul Thorburn, who has captained Wales through the last 2 or 3 rather depressing years. Ian Evans on the right wing for Wales today, playing in his 25th test. Bishop. Pat Lamb with the little dummy up over the 22, waits for his forwards to get him behind, and this is good stuff from the Samoans, driving hard at the Welsh line. I just got the impression that Timo Tangala might have taken his eye off the ball there. He was waiting to receive that pass. He had some room to move out on the left, but just sizing up his options, took his eye off the ball. This big, strapping, 15-stone, experienced winger on the left wing for Western Samoa today. Western Samoan forwards did extremely well, taking play up over the advantage line and then winning good, quick ball. And you can see Tangaloa just looking around to see where in fact the defence was, and in doing so he lost it forward. Robert Jones, who seems, Jamie, to have cemented himself back inside the Welsh team now that there's a new coach here.
Absolutely right. The previous coach, Warren Waldron, was very much of a fan of a man called Chris Bridges.
Robert Jones, who Did have a reputation as being one of the best halfbacks in the world 4 years ago at the last World Cup, but has had a checkered career since then, but seems now to be back permanently in the Welsh team. And again, the Samoans have been penalised. Going over the top and killing the ball was Apollo Perolini, the loose forward. Ring steps out of one tackle, but a very poor pass, nearly pulled down by Tangaloa. And Wales on the break. Back there is the fullback, Lupo. He looked for a moment that he was going to make a mess of it, but very calmly pulled it in again and recovered extremely well. So no tries in the match so far. Nearly 30 minutes of the first half gone. Just one penalty apiece. Kenny Walters making his test debut today, just 3 days away from his 30th birthday, as he feeds the line out, won by Pat Lamb at the back of the line out, off a Welsh deflection. And again, the Samoans able to win ball from broken play. And I'm sure Peter Schuster, their coach, and Brian Williams, their technical advisor, would be very pleased with the performance of the Samoan pack in the first 30 minutes of this match. Certainly matching the Welsh, and also winning perhaps a little more ball from the lineouts than they might have thought. Robert Jones kicking over the top, but it's too much depth on that kick, and Aialupo has plenty of time to put his reply long and deep. Clement inside his own 22. Jones, who made his test debut back in 1986, has won 35 caps for Wales since then. Their most experienced player today. There's their oldest player, 35-year-old Phil May, playing today in just his 7th test. So Western Samoa slightly ahead on the line-out count. That's a pleasant surprise, I'm sure, for the Western Samoans, who thought they might struggle in this phase of play with the lack of real tall men in their team. But with that slight advantage in the line-outs at the moment. And again, being able to put pressure on the Welsh line. And a stoppage for injury. One of the Welsh players, it looks like, has suffered a knock. In fact, it looks like Phil May seems to be favouring his calf muscle, is it, I think?
He was certainly subjected to a very heavy tackle as he came around the back of the line out from the previous move.
Keep your eye on number 4, Phil May, who was smashed in a very heavy tackle there by Apollo Perolini, the Western Samoan loose forward, and seemed to injure himself when he went down midway 22 and halfway. A real veteran of Welsh rugby. In fact, it doesn't look too good at all for Phil May, who's waited 3 long years to win back his Welsh jersey. Man who's been playing club rugby here in Wales for 18 years in a row. Meanwhile, the replacement looks like Martin Morris, I think, that might be warming up, and this doesn't look good at all for Phil May. The stretcher out there, he's obviously suffered a very heavy blow to his leg. He looks to be in some pain at the moment. As Yayan Evans and the referee, Mr. Patrick Raban, have a discussion over the back of Phil May, and he is being assisted from the ground. So a very heavy tackle. Keep your eye on number 7, the Western Samoan loose forward, who lined up Phil May, and it was probably the way he fell, I think, that caused the injury rather than the tackle itself. So a very sad day for Phil May, back in the Welsh side, but only for 30 minutes. It looks like, in fact, it's his left hand that's the problem. Coming onto the field is number 21, Martin Morris from the Neath Club. and immediately into the fray as the Welsh win the line out, but it had been knocked forward by Wales, and so the scrum to take place midway 22 and halfway. I notice that Phil Davis has gone into lock, the big number 8, and there you see number 21 on the blind side, Martin Morris. So there's been quite a change in the formation of the Welsh scrum as a result of that injury, with Davis going from number 8 to lock, and also the back row being shifted around to accommodate Martin Morris on the blind side.
Phil Davis has played a number of tests at lock, so it hasn't disrupted them too much, but obviously not great news for them.
And Emir Lewis has gone from the side of the scrum to number 8. As the Western Samoans again moving the ball quickly and snappily along the back line. But the fullback Alupe couldn't get his pass free. Good smothering tackle made on him. He had a man outside of him. As things get a little heated there, Frank Bunt's in there, mixing it with one of the Welshmen. And the referee just calming the players down. I think it was all fairly innocent stuff, as Emir Lewis and Frank Bunce had an exchange. And the Welsh with the loose head inside their own half. A very even match so far. And Via has been penalised. And another defensive penalty to Wales. The fullback Anthony Clement. We talk about the New Zealand connection in the Western Samoan side, with most of them having played or still playing their domestic rugby in New Zealand, but Anthony Clement and Richie Collins are two members of the Welsh side that also have played club rugby in New Zealand, in Wellington. Tony Clement, who played club rugby for the Poniki Club in Wellington, and Richie Collins, back in the mid-1980s, played for the Johnsonville Club. Collins on the side of the scrum wearing the number 7 jersey. There he is at the back of the line-out, marking Apollo Perolini. Stephen Bashop, his first mistake today, as he was put under pressure there from Richie Collins. From the line out. Nothing really much wrong with the pass. The ball just seemed to slip through the hands of Stephen Bashop. Perhaps he took his eye off the ball as it was coming at him. He also was probably aware of the fact that Richie Collins was coming at him like an express train. And once again, the Samoans starting to give away a lot of penalties. Going over the top, says Mr. Raban. And another opportunity here for Mark Ring.
Western Samoa have given away a lot of penalties. I'm not sure exactly what the penalty count is, but it's certainly in Wales' favour. And Western Samoa have only got themselves to blame for being in this position. They won a good line out, and unfortunately that unenforced error on Bashop has put more pressure on them. But Mark Ring's under pressure here as Wales' frontline goal kicker. Goal kicking is going to win matches in this World Cup, and Wales don't have a specialist.
Ring doesn't waste much time with his kicks at goal, but that's another miss to Wales. 3 attempts at goal with only 1 success so far, and the scores remain at 3-all. So the Western Samoans will need to tighten their discipline, particularly about staying on their feet once the ball goes to ground. I know it's an area of play that they've worked long and hard on over the past few days here in Cardiff. Peter Fadialofa, Brian Williams and Peter Schuster stressing the need to these players in keeping with, if you like, the philosophy of the referees at this World Cup. They're very strict and very tough on players that don't stay on their feet once the ball goes to ground, and the Samoans have put a lot of emphasis on that in training, but nonetheless have given away a lot of penalties in the first 30 minutes of the match from that area. Part of this crowd of 35,000 people here at the National Stadium at Cardiff Arms Park as the Welshmen win another line-out, but it's been a very even struggle in the line-out so far. That pass would look, well, that certainly was forward. In fact, I'm sure both of those last 2 passes were forward. Certainly there was no question about the second one. And the scrum to go down 10 metres inside the Welsh half. So both teams showing a willingness to want to move the ball, but just a lack of finish. Perhaps it's nervousness. These players have been sitting around waiting for the best part of 10 days for this match to take place, and I know Peter Fadialofa said to me his players were getting very frustrated and very bored over the last couple of days. Couldn't wait to get into this match, and perhaps just being a little impetuous, and coupled with the nervousness, accounting for a lot of the handling areas. As away goes Brian Lima, the youngest member of the Western Samoan side. The 19-year-old who plays his rugby for the Mara St. Pat's team in Wellington. The Welsh screwing the scrum. Via getting away from Martin Morris. From the restart, it's Frank Bunce again on the crash. Midway 22 and halfway. The Samoans on attack again. And again it's there for their backs. Bishop. But there's a wall of Welsh jerseys there. Bunce, no way through there for Frank Bunce as three Welshmen wrap him up just outside the 22. As in go the Samoan forwards again. And once more, look at those Samoan players all lying all over the player who's been tackled. And once again, they've been penalised.
Lawrence Delaney, the Welsh prop, he certainly felt the full force of the rucking on that occasion. In fact, it might be Kenny Waters, the new cap. Certainly is. But he was on the wrong side of the ruck and deserved what he got there, really. And the referee was right on top of the incident and saw him killing the ball and has given Samoa an excellent chance to take the lead again.
Matthew Via with the one success so far. But that was a very simple kick from no more than 15 or 20 metres. This is a longer kick out near the 40-metre range.
Wales will be very disappointed so far that their backs haven't showed any great ability to beat the Samoans in a man-on-man situation or out wide. Ian Evans, their captain, I don't think has received a pass yet in an attacking situation. And certainly the move we just had before, going right to left, two long passes were definitely forward and certainly misguided. And even if they had been accurate, I don't think they were in a position to make a lot of ground from it.
With a little Western Samoan halfback, Matthew Via, big kick for him. Just a couple of minutes away from half-time, a chance to put Western Samoa back in the lead. He struck it well, but again the direction is astray. So not a successful day for goal kicking here at Cardiff Arms Park today. Each team with just the one success from three. Mark Ring gets the match underway again. Tapped back rather untidily by the Samoans as the Welsh forwards coming through. As Arthur Emmer gets a rare touch of the ball on the left wing for Wales. He turned it around nicely. Collins to Robert Jones, who goes straight through a big gap in the Samoan forwards. And again, the Welsh forwards have been penalised. Number 2, Kenny Waters, has given away another penalty.
He might be trying to get his own back from the previous ruck, I think, as well.
There he is, this 29-year-old making his test debut today. Just being a little too over-vigorous there as Robert Jones saw how flat the Western Samoan backs were, sold the dummy, took it back into the forwards. And number 2, there he is, Kenny Waters, right under the nose of the referee. Some needless stomping, and he's been penalised. Another opportunity here for Western Samoa, again winning that ball quickly. The Welsh backs, however, up very flat, crowding the Western Samoans. So there's been some very solid defence from the Welsh midfield this afternoon, who've closed down the elusive Western Samoan midfield.
Good referee, Bertrand Robin. The high up and under definitely went forward from Clement, and he's come back for the scrum ball Samoans' way.
There's a big blind here for the Western Samoans, and that's where Aporo Perolini is going. Where is the support? Yes, it's there in the form of Vaifali, but he can't get there. Very good tackle made by Amir Lewis. Strong tackle made on the Western Samoan loose forward. That was certainly a try-saving tackle from the big number 8, as he is now for the Welsh side this afternoon. Try-saving tackle, but the Western Samoans, in the last couple of minutes of the first half, camped right on the Welsh goal line. Marvellous opportunity here to snatch the lead before the break. Walters. Good take in the middle of the line out by Mosley. And Peter Fadialofa it is that's been penalised.
Amir Lewis may just have saved Wales from enormous embarrassment here. It was a super move by Western Samoa. Pat Lam off the back, huge gap there. Martin Morris has gone wide very early. And there's Emile Lewis with a wonderful tackle, drags him right across and into touch.
Sila Vaipali, who could see the line, he was so close. He was in the act of rolling in the tackle, and I think he thought he had enough momentum on to be able to get the ball down, but the sheer strength of that man there, the Welshman, the back of the line out, Emile Lewis managed to turn the Samoan over and push him into touch. Marvellous tackle. Score remains at 3 points apiece. Off the back of the scrum goes Pat Lam as it's moved wide again. Nicely taken there by Frank Bunce, but another very solid tackle made on him by Mark Ring. There's certainly been nothing wrong with the Welsh defence this afternoon. They've certainly made sure of their tackles. And the Welsh get the loose head. Well, both of these two teams know, I'm sure, after watching the Australia-Argentinian match the other day, that they're in a very tight group, and it's going to be a very tight match by the look of it. Meanwhile, the French touch judge, René Oke, has got his flag up. He's obviously seen a knee go up by the look of it. And I think he's going to talk to one of the Samoan players. So there'll be a penalty here to the Welsh. And it's their captain, Peter Farialofa, that's being spoken to. Farialofa has been penalised, and Wales get the penalty just outside their 22. Tony Clement, their fullback. Good kick from Clement from the middle of the field. Making sure of his touch, but also making good yardage. So the Welsh crowd trying to G their side, galvanise them into action in the last couple of minutes of the first half. A nice take by Vaifali at the back of the line-out. As away comes Vili Alalatoa. Vaifali again trying to turn it back to his halfback. It's there for Vaya. Frank Bunce decides to have a little probe on the short side. Frank Bunce pushes off Robert Jones. Did he lose it forward? I think he might have done. However, no, the referee is saying the ball bounced back. This is a good passage of play here for the Samoans, putting together 2 or 3 phases, and they're controlling it again as they start the rolling maul. Now released for Vaya. This is Tangaloa coming in from the left wing. That looked like a suspiciously high tackle on Tangaloa. However, the ball has been lost and won by the Welshman. Coming up from fullback as Clement. Solid tackle made him. And him, Yayan Evans, with his first chance of the match. Doesn't get away from Frank Bunce. He looked very menacing nonetheless, did Yayan Evans. As the referee looks at his watch and says, that is half-time. Yayan Evans taking the pass from his fullback. Given some room to move on down the right wing, but a very solid tackle by Frank Bunce. Beautiful copybook tackle. And that's half-time here at Cardiff Arms Park, should I say. The scores are level at 3 points apiece. Samoans kick deep. Nicely taken by Robert Jones, 10 metres from his own line. It's a rather familiar situation, I'm sure, that Jones finds himself in here this afternoon. As away come the Samoans again. A nice run here from the number 8, Pat Lam, and a lovely pass to Tua Vainga. The chase is on. Now it's Vainga against a couple of forwards. Vainga, what does he say? Yes! That's a try at the first minute to the Samoans. Lovely kick from Tua Vainga. He had the pace to outstretch the Welsh defence. He got a hand to the ball, and the Western Samoans hit the lead by 7 points to 3. A sensational start to the second half from the first line out. A smart break here made by Pat Lam. Fended off one beautiful pass that he freed to Tuivasa-Vaenga, decided to go on his own. A very intelligent little kick. He started from behind, but he had too much pace for the halfback and the loose forward. And did he get a hand to it or not? It's a very close call.
It's an incredibly close call, and Robert Jones certainly reacted very badly to the decision made by Patrick Robin. I thought Jones just got there. Terribly difficult decision for the referee as they go neck for neck, stride for stride for the try line. Robert Jones dives first, and I'm afraid that's Robert Jones' hand on the ground. And Patrick Robin is not given the benefit of the doubt to the defending side, which he must do in any situation regarding a try. And I'm afraid things like that can turn matches, and Patrick Robin has given Western Samoa a big advantage now. And this kick is critical for Western Samoa to make it a 6-point lead.
Just the sort of bad break the Welsh didn't want in the first minute of the second half, but it's changed the whole nature of this match as Matthew Vaea, the halfback, adds the extra 2 points, and the Samoans ahead by 9 points to 3. And boy, have we got a real match on our hands here at the National Stadium. A real test now with the Welsh spirit. How much fire is left in the Welsh Dragon now? 38 minutes of the match to go. A controversial try, one that I'm sure we'll hear and read a lot about in the next few days, especially if it in fact determines the outcome of this match. It may well determine the outcome of Welsh rugby for the next 4 years. As Mark Ring restarts. And away come the Samoans again. This is Mata'afa Keenan, beautifully taken by Fadialofa. And the Western Samoans are really fired up. They know they've got the winning of this match. And again, the Welsh have been penalised. And another opportunity here for Western Samoa.
You've got to question the Welsh decision-making there. They elected for a short kick-off, which put the confrontation back in the forwards again. It may have been better for them to go long and try and settle it down and have Western Samoa clear the ball just beyond the 22 so Wales could have thrown. It was a poor decision, I feel, to kick short on that occasion. And certainly now, if they were to go 12-3 down, it would be very difficult for them. I know to my own cost what disputed tries are like in World Cup. When England played Australia in the 87 World Cup, David Campese did the same to England in the opening game of that group. And certainly it made things very, very difficult for the England guys for the rest of that game, knowing full well that the try was not actually a definitive try. But this is a bold kick from this angle now, but what a silence there will be if it goes over.
That's the 10-metre line, so it's a very long kick. These are the difficult ones with the plastic ball. Being able to maintain the direction for the duration of its flight. And he's hooked it away to the left. It's also short, as Martin Morris claims the fair catch a few metres from his own line.
I'm not sure what his punting's like, and he's right in the middle of the field, so it'll be interesting if he finds touch from here. He might tap and pass.
I think he's decided to do that and allow Mark Ring with the safer and surer boot to find his touch, which he's done so.
The coaches won't be too happy leaving a flanker to catch the high ball either. There's no way he should be taking it.
The Samoans, who seem to be keen to play this match at pace in the second half, wasting no time, taking the short line out, but not to the satisfaction of Mr. Raban. He's indicating that it wasn't straight. He does have the microphone on, but as neither Jamie, Salmon nor I exactly what you'd call fluent in French, he's not much used to us today. Fadialofa having something to say to his opposite number, Lawrence Delaney. It's there for Robert Jones, just outside his 22. The long pass back to Mark Ring as Pat Lamb gives chase.
And Wales have lost yardage from that scrum by doing a long pass back to Mark Ring. His kick was sliced, there was good pressure on him, and they've lost ground, and it's Western Samoa's throw again.
So big stand, Tua Malaitai, another one with a lot of experience, and played his rugby in New Zealand for the Mara St. Pat's Club in Wellington, and a very good kick from Stephen Basham, and it's pulled down by Timo Tangaloa. In there goes Frank Bunce, in the Samoan forwards get in behind Bunce, and they turn it back for Vaea. Another opportunity here for Western Samoa, back to Tangaloa. but the Welshmen are watching the big strapping right winger for Western Samoa this afternoon. 3 men there on Tangaloa as he got the ball, but they turn it back again. Bishop, and for the third time it's Tangaloa. Frank Bunce gets in there as well. Real commitment coming here from the Western Samoans. Lovely pass across to the centre three-quarter. Vaenga is looking for some support, but there's no one there. 4 Welshmen there. The Samoans are right there now, right on the Welsh goal line. And the momentum really with this Western Samoan side in the first 10 minutes of the second half, playing a notch or two better than they did throughout the first half.
One more score from Western Samoa, and that will be it, I think. I don't think the Welsh will come back from a 10-point, 15-point deficit. And Western Samoa in a marvellous position now with their own foot into the scrum. They've got to take their time.
And this looks like a further blow to the Welshman. Is this the fullback, or is it, in fact, Tony Clement that's leaving the field? So everything going wrong for the Welsh team at the moment. So that's the second injury problem that the Welshmen have had this afternoon, losing Phil May in the first spell after about 25 minutes. And also it looks as if Mark Ring is receiving some attention on the ground as well, as on comes number 18, Michael Raya, the 26-year-old from Cardiff, who is in fact a specialist fullback, so that's some consolation for the Welsh side. They don't have to rechange their back line, as coming in from the left wing is Brian Lima, and that must have been very close, but a Welsh body managed to get onto the turf and prevent the Samoan player from grounding the ball. As Tima Tangaloa again playing an increasingly prominent part in this match. He hardly saw the ball in the first half, coming in off his wing as he bowled Richie Collins out of the way. And look at the Welshman. They put 3 or 4 men underneath him as he got to the try line. So the Western Samoans have had 2 or 3 opportunities to score tries. The one they did score was controversial. And another opportunity here for the Western Samoan side. Is this going to be the first major upset of the 1991 World Cup? It's the new man on the field, Michael Raya.
I think Mark Ring's in trouble too with his knee. I think it's the same knee as he had the recent operation on. And if he has to go off, unfortunately they've got David Evans, who's his kind of colleague, but he's also a fly half that could come on. But these are worrying time for Wales.
And again, we see this move, which is a well-practiced one, of course, in New Zealand. We often see John Kirwan, but the All Blacks doing the same move, and for Auckland coming it off his wing and using his tremendous strength. And who was it? I think it was Amir Lewis again, who managed to get onto the turf, and the Welshman taking Tangaloa over the top and unable to, in fact, ground the ball. So that's 2 very good saves by Amir Lewis. Untidy ball this time, and the scrum being screwed more than 90 degrees, and so back we come again.
Western Samoa are under pressure in these scrummages, and they've just got to get Channel 1 ball, I believe. They're getting pushed back now.
It's a slightly better scrum. Off the back goes Pat Lamb as he frees it to Stephen Bishop. And I think a Welsh hand might have got to that ball. Bishop normally pretty reliable. I'm sure he would have backed himself to have slotted that drop goal 9 times out of 10.
Richie Collins, the open side flank for Wales, is now in trouble as well, and Western Samoa have somehow just got to stay down this end of the field, because they may get another penalty, and if they can get beyond 6 points, Wales have got to score twice, and that will prove very difficult.
10 minutes of play in the second half, and is this Richie Collins leaving the field as well? He looks in a lot of pain with his right shoulder causing him trouble, and so a third Welshman heads for the dressing room.
Well, with Martin Morris having already come on, who's a loose forward, it leaves the hooker and props on the bench.
And major problems here for the Welsh, as the replacement fullback waiting underneath it, Michael Raya. Bunce got there as well. I think he might have lost the ball forward. However, play continues, and this is big Matarapa Keenan, only a couple of metres short of the line, as again the Samoans go hunting for another try. Bishop, Peter Fadialofa. Turn back again for Vaya. Desperate stuff here from the Welshmen, trying to keep the Western Samoans out. Mark Birtwistle. Players diving in all directions, but Vaya again trying to move it out. Stephen Bishop. This match is really being played at a very frantic pace at the moment. And this is a very torrid forward exchange now between these two teams. A lot at stake here, as the Welshmen decide to run it from inside their own 22. Arthur Emier, the left winger, that's a very poor kick. Tangaloa, he's got a bit of room here as Timo gets away from a couple of Welshmen. Solid tackle made on him by Richie Collins. As they move it wide again, there's numbers here for the Samoans. Must be a try. Yes, no question about this one. Sila Vaifali, and is that the end of the Welshmen at the World Cup? It may well be. 2 tries in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and the Western Samoans suddenly with a very comfortable 10-point lead. Well, it all stemmed from a very poor kick by Emier, the right winger. And in fact, we're going back a little further than that, as the numbers suddenly started to open up there for the Western Samoans. Look, they had 4-on-1. Any one of them could have scored it, and it was the loose forward Sila Vaifali that dotted it around just a few metres to the right of the post.
It was such a long passage of play that there were bodies all over the place by the time Tangaloa went through the middle and finally got tackled. And there was such an enormous amount of gap on the right-hand side. As we can see, there's 4, 5, 6 Western Samoans lining up to take the ball. Only Robert Jones in the frame there as a possible tackler. And this really is now the writing on the wall for Wales. But to be fair to Western Samoa, I think we said at half-time, the first 10 minutes of the second half would be absolutely critical. And Wales have been, Western Samoa have only been the only side in the game at all.
What a marvellous moment for Sila Vaifali, 24-year-old from the Taradale club in the Hawke's Bay, playing today in his 8th test match for Western Samoa. But now, their halfback Matthew Vaya with the chance to add the 2 extra points. Not having a very successful day with his goal kicking, but at the moment, the Samoans are winning this matches with tries. Let's have a look at this super try again, as there was a huge lineup here. Peter Fadialofa, lovely little pass to Vaifali, showed a good turn of speed, got away from Robert Jones, and it was just a mere formality from that moment on. And look at the delight on the faces of the Western Samoans, a critical try coming at a critical moment. Stephen Bashop, just the man the Western Samoans need at the moment with his experience. Garen Jenkins is the 3rd new player on the field for the Welsh side. They can't make any more replacements. A makeshift Welsh side, trailing by 10 points in their first World Cup match for 1991. Now there's an opportunity for the Welsh backs. Hall, who's hardly seen the ball all day. Scott Gibbs, who's also really just been a bystander for much of the action this afternoon. But a very solid tackle made on him by the Western Samoan midfield. Gathered in by the Welsh forwards, and they turn it back again for Jones, probing down the short side. But Mike Hall, his hands letting him down.
I think with Wales being 10 points behind, it's going to make a fascinating last 25-30 minutes of the match, because they've got to run it now.
And the point we must stress here, Jamie, is they do have backs that can score tries. And Scott Gibbs, Ian Evans. Even during their rather ill-fated Five Nations Championship series this year, where they finished with the wooden spoon, they still did produce 1 or 2 marvellous tries in the course of that series. Stephen Bashop.
Samoa have obviously got to keep their cool, do nothing rash, just keep playing exactly the way they've done before. Move it to the midfield. Bunter's having a super game up the middle. Bashop's controlling things well. His touch kicks have been good, and that's what they've got to ensure.
And that's a telling statistic as well. The Western Samoans winning the possession count by 2-1 at the moment. And the Welsh backs starved of possession. A poor pass, Ring. But the Samoans putting pressure on the Welsh midfield. And this is Ian Evans, the captain, who's trying to start something up from the back. Jones. Scott Gibbs. Stephen Bashop makes his tackle outside the 22. And certainly that string of penalties in the first half for players not staying on their feet has done the trick, but at the moment, temper's starting to get a little frayed. There's one of the Welshmen and one of the Western Samoans exchanging blows. It was, I think, Mara Afakinen, the Western Samoan, and one of the replacement Welsh forwards on the field. The new man, Gareth Jenkins, who's come on there. He is number 19. He hasn't wasted much time in getting into the rough stuff, as it was Mara Afakinen that took exception first of all as he threw a punch, and then it was all on. There he is, number 19, Gareth Jenkins, who's replaced Richie Collins on the blind side. 3 replacements on the field for Wales. As Mark Ring with the little dummy gets away from Vaya. Yayan Evans steps around Tangaloa.
Wales aren't threatening to really go anywhere with the back moves at the moment. They don't want to get too frantic. They needed a penalty to get back in the game, 13-6, or something like that. But they've just got to somehow just get some momentum going and some continuity to their play.
"15 minutes of the second half have gone here at Cardiff Arms Park, and the home side trailing by 13 points to 3. Stephen Basham, again so cool, calm and collected.
He's doing well because the ball he's getting from the scrums isn't great ball. They're being split a lot now, Western Samoans.
The Welsh taking the short throw, but I don't think it travelled 5 metres. Patrick Raban, the referee, has awarded the loose hit to the Western Samoans right on halfway. There's almost an eerie silence here at the National Stadium now as this Welsh crowd, I think, prepare themselves for yet another humiliation. Stephen Basham again with a beautifully placed kick and lovely pressure put on the replacement fullback, but I think they might have been up inside or up ahead of the kicker, Stephen Basham, and the Welsh have the option and they decide to take the scrum. This is one area, as Jamie Salmon said, where the Welsh are able to impose their authority on the match. And a very good attacking opportunity here with a big blind to work if they want it. Jones kicking in behind the Western Samoan backs and rolling the ball into touch inside the 22. Yayan Evans giving chase. But really, the Welsh have barely been inside the Western Samoan 22 since the second half began. It's been all Western Samoa since the break. 2 tries since half-time. They lead by 13 points to 3. And there's Phil May, the saddest sight at Cardiff Arms Park today. His long-awaited return to the Welsh side lasted just 30 minutes and looks like he's suffered a fairly serious injury to his arm and probably I wouldn't imagine will take much further part in this World Cup. Hasn't found touch. Nicely kept in the field of play by Robert Jones, but that really was almost a hospital pass back to his fullback. Mark Ring is there to save the day. And well taken there by the big prop forward, Alalatoa, showing good ball skills. The rolling ball he took well. Nicely picked up by Vaenga. Across to Brian Lee, but the youngster on the right wing that's had little to do this afternoon. Keeps the ball in the field of play, but eventually it rolls into touch. Just 19 years of age, Brian Lima playing on the right wing for Western Samoa this afternoon. It was 3-3 at half-time. 2 tries and a conversion since the break to Western Samoa, and they lead by 13 to 3. A line-out infringement by Western Samoa. Free kick to the Welshman. Davis. Again, Frank Bunce, very solid defender. Took the big Welsh forward in a solid tackle. Ring. And really there is just no fluency at all in this Welsh backline. One starts to see the first signs of panic coming here.
Absolutely. Now, we've got to remember that Yayan Evans is the supposed captain of Wales, which which with his position caused a lot of comment when it was announced. And the ball is now in Robert Jones's court, I feel, at scrum half, to take this game by the scruff of the neck on Wales's behalf, because Ian Evans does not seem to be making the decisions, or going up to Robert Jones or Phil Davis, the senior pros, if you like, of the side, and Mark Ring, who threw out a terribly wild pass there, and to get it sorted out.
That's always the problem, of course, when you have a wing as captain. He's really away from the boiler room, as it were, and often difficult to convey exactly what you want when you're 30 or 40 metres away from the ball all the time.
Western Samoa can now play this game at as slow as pace as they like, not rush the penalties, not rush getting to the scrums, and just use up the time, and the more panic will get into the Welsh camp.
Bishop on halfway. An unobtrusive sort of player, Stephen Bishop, but his solidity and his maturity today has been very evident in this Western Samoan effort. Line-out ball won by Kevin Mosley. The Western Samoans have been penalised in the line-out, and a defensive penalty to the Welsh team on the 22. Mark Ring finds his touch and brings the Welshman back on attack again. Time starting to tick by. We've had approximately 22 minutes of play in the second half. There's the sombre faces of the vast Welsh crowd. Not to mention the odd sombrero I see there as well. It's the referee, Mr. Raban, having words with the Mara Afakinen. Martin Morris, the replacement loose forward at the back of the line-out for Wales, marking Oporo Perolini. Stan Tuamalaita throwing the ball deep. Ball won by the Western Samoans. Good line out to win inside their own half. Opportunity for them to get back into the Welsh half here. Via to Frank Bunce, and a rare mistake from Bunce. This gives Wales the opportunity. Lewis outside the 22. Lewis, as he runs into Fadialofa. Great run there from Emil Lewis. Jones, Mark Ring, he's deciding he'll take the Samoans on his own. But again, nothing really constructive coming from the Welsh backs here. They just really seem to be a group of individuals working at the moment. Kevin Mosley, solid tackle made on him, 15 metres short of the line. Mosley still on the ground. Another opportunity here, this time for Mike Hall. Inside to Lewis, and yes, the Welshmen are back. Arthur Emmer that took the final pass. And it all looked a bit loose, but it was the decisive little break by Mike Hall, and Arthur Emmer coming back on the angle, and the defence opened up, and the Welshmen are back in the match at 13 points to 7. He's hardly touched the ball all day. It really had become rather loose and ragged. The Western Samoans were spread wide, spread rather thinly out to the right. That's where the Welshman decided to probe. Mike Hall, the centre, had the little break, and the gap opened up there for Arthur Emmer, and he showed good footwork to zigzag his way through the defence, and the opportunity here for Ring to add the 2 points. Big kick for Ring. Two desperate points that the Welshman needed, and it's all on again at 13 points to 9. The Welshmen are not out of it yet.
Indeed not, as you rightly say, and poor old Frank Bunce has had a cracking game in midfield for Western Samoa. It was his knock-on that really led to the whole Welsh try. And Emil Lewis, who's having a wonderful game, I think, for Wales in the back row, has really set up the pattern there for Wales to get their first try. We're in for a cracking last quarter of this game now, and with only 4 points in it, it can still go either way, and Western Samoa have got to keep control of themselves now and play the game of the Welsh half. Wales have got to score the tries. Western Samoa only needs kicks, so the ball is still very much in Western Samoa's court. Here is Emir just finishing off the try again, and Wales have waited a long time for that, both on and off the field.
And this vast Welsh crowd, which has been rather quiet this afternoon, suddenly breaks out into song as they sense the Welshmen may be able to snatch victory in this match after all. Lovely cut back there from Arthur Emmer, coming back on the angle, and the gap opened in the Western Samoan defence, and through he went to score the first Welsh try of the World Cup in 1991. The Welsh that haven't fashioned an especially proud record here at Cardiff Arms Park over the past couple of years, only winning 2 of their last 12 internationals here on their home ground. The Samoans concerned about their inability to win ball on the line-out, showing a little innovation and creativity here, and that's one they have won. And robbed of the ball as well, as it comes back to Mark Ring inside his 22.
Wales were immensely fortunate that Lawrence Delaney went straight over the top of the Samoan wall, and when it was coming out their side, and Wales are terribly fortunate to get away with that.
So play back on halfway. 25 minutes of the first half, of the second half gone. It's 13 points to 9 in favour of Samoa. It's 2 line-outs in a row that the Samoans have won. That'll give them some heart. Mr. Oban thinking about a penalty. This time he pulls up the Welshman for killing the ball. It's the replacement, number 19, Garen Jenkins. That land via quick hands to Frank Bunce. Bunce beautifully shrugs off one tackle. Lovely stuff here from Bunce. Where's the support from Vainga? Bishop, but the pass was forward. The gap was there. The try was there for the asking for the Samoans, but the forward pass has let them down. Ring, the long pass. He had Yayan Evans outside of him, the fullback, but he decided to kick. Very good kick from the replacement fullback, Michael Raya. Resisted the temptation to give Yayan Evans a run. His captain and wing outside of him, who was unmarked. I guess he felt inside his own 22. The wise option was to kick. Untidy ball. The big Western Samoa hooker Stan Tuamalaito is quick to pounce on. Otto Perolini. And Matthew Via, who's had a very fine game at halfback for Western Samoa, again clearing the ball quickly and cleanly to his inside backs. Tangaloa, the strength of Tangaloa, shrugs off one Welshman, and Robert Jones, who has a awfully difficult job to get him down, and he's appealing to the referee, I think, there for a penalty, claiming Tangaloa deliberately pushed the ball into touch. In fact,
silly play. I mean, they had the advantage there in the ball, 22, nearly 22.
Ring trying to chip the ball just in behind the Western Samoan backs to Vainga, another one of these elusive midfielders in the Western Samoan side this afternoon. Vainga and Frank Bunce have had marvellous games and caused a lot of problems for the Welsh defence, especially in the second half. And the Samoans losing the ball forward in that exchange. And this match, which is being played at an increasingly frantic pace. And I just wonder about the fitness of this Welsh pack in the last 20 minutes, Jamie.
Absolutely critical, and obviously the same is going to be said of Samoa as well, but they haven't been renowned for their fitness over the last year or two, Wales, that's for sure.
Ring. Lovely kick from Mark Ring. He does in fact remind me of Phil Bennett sometimes, the way he moves, with that lovely little jinky run that he's got, and that very balanced position he holds on the field, and that lovely kick then that he just weighed up his options, kicked the ball deep and rolled it into touch inside the 22.
Yes, when you think of the experience of Robert Jones at scrum half and Mark Ring at fly half, that's where the control of this game should be won for Wales, and their decision making should, in fact, with 10 minutes to go, even though they're 4 points down, should secure enough possession and enough quality decision making to get them on the scoring chart again.
Welsh have been penalised in the line-out, and that's a timely penalty, the Samoans would say, coming just a few metres from their own line. And Stephen Basham. The Samoans still well ahead in the possession count, but very little of that is coming from the line-outs. And that's a lovely kick from Stephen Basham, but the Welsh take the quick throw in. There's the pick of the Welsh forwards this afternoon. Emil Lewis with another charging run, stopped by Vaifali 10 metres outside the 22, and Vaifali has been penalised for a head-high tackle, and an opportunity here for Wales. Now this is a long kick. It's up near the halfway, and Robert Jones, realising that he doesn't have the goal kickers that could realistically slot this, so they take the tap penalty. Scott Gibbs breaks out of one tackle. Jones with that beautiful long pass to Hall. Again Hall on the little half break. Desperate stuff here as Pat Lamb goes back. Vaenga. As he kicks the ball deep inside the Welsh half. The ball going into touch on the full.
I think the referee should have come back from the Welsh knock-on and given Samoa the scrum.
Kevin Mosley going high, but to Robert Jones under pressure, and the Welsh winning the line-out but losing 20 metres. Time ticks by. 32 minutes of play have gone, although we have had a couple of long stoppages for injury, so there'd still be the best part of 10 minutes of the match to go. Can this Western Samoan side, in their very first taste of World Cup rugby, hang on and pull off the biggest upset so far of the 1991 World Cup? Matthew Byer kicking deep. Raya 10 metres from his own line, and the Welsh, who of course are forced to run the ball. Raya, and again the Western Samoan defence looking rather thinly spread as the Welsh make 30 metres up towards halfway. It's there for Jones again. The try scorer, Arthur Emir. Again the gap opens up for the Welsh. Mark Ring to Yayan Evans. Up to the 22, desperate defence there from the Samoans. Jones, he goes one way, then the other. Ring. And again the try was on for the Welsh, but the hands of young Scott Gibbs letting him down.
Martin Ring looked very reluctant to go for that gap there. He was not moving at pace at all, and here we go. Look, he's just jogging there. There's a gap there for him, and made things hard for Scott Gibbs and went outside, and that was a glorious chance for Wales. As you say, rightly say, Brendan, I mean, the fitness now is going to tell on these two sides, and I don't know which one's going to hold out the most, but Western Samoa have a marvellous effort in this game. They've got to somehow get quick ball from the scrum and clear their lines.
And some of the Western Samoan players also starting to look a little bit out of breath in the last 10 minutes of this match. Some big holes starting to appear in the Western Samoan defence. 13 points to 9. It was 3-3 at half-time. 3 tries in the second half, 2 to Western Samoa, 1 to Wales, and 4 points the difference as we go into the last 10 minutes of this cliffhanger here at the National Stadium. Stan Tuamalaita having difficulty getting down inside his own 22. Western Samoan scrum has been under a lot of pressure in the second half. That's a steadier scrum, giving Bishop plenty of time to get his kick away and relieving the pressure for Western Samoa as they make play down to within 10 metres of the Welsh halfway line.
I must say that Emil Lewis for Wales in the back row has been quite outstanding today. He's been the only one that's really driven his forwards in a forward manner and really taken the Samoans onto their own game. Vaifali.
Bishop does well to pull it down out of the sky and rolls it inside the Welsh 22. Michael Raya, the replacement fullback for Anthony Clement, gets his kick away. That will suit the purposes of the Western Samoans admirably, keeping the Welsh inside their own half.
He's a good player, Mike Raya. It was a close decision between him and Tony Clement, who got the 15 jersey for Wales. He plays all his rugby at fullback for Cardiff, and he's an attacking player as well, so he'll be joining the line as and when Wales gets in possession.
Arthur Keenan marking Phil Davis in the two-man line-out. Mark Birtwhistle there as well, but it's taken by Kevin Mosley. But a solid tackle, lovely tackle made by Tangaloa. Stopped the big Welsh lock in his tracks. Ring. This is Mike Hall. Couldn't get his pass away. Scooped up there by by Farley. Away goes Pat Lamb. Lovely hands across to Brian Lima. Shrugs off one tackle. Lima, where's the support for Lima? He's only 10 metres short of the line, and the teenager from Western Samoa refusing to be tackled, dragging Welshman towards the line. They're only 10 metres short. Must be a penalty. The Welshman diving in all over the player on the ground. And a very decisive penalty awarded by Patrick Raban to Western Samoa. Just 10 metres from the line, and Matthew Vaya must kick the goal.
No question that was a penalty. If it had been two yards closer to the Welsh line, it would have been a penalty try. But super run on the right wing by Brian Lima. Took them on, and if he could just got one pass away there, then Western Samoa are definitely in. But certainly the hands are all on the ball now to prevent it coming out for Western Samoa. Look, the Welsh hand, you can see quite clearly there. I can't quite see who it is. But if it had been a yard closer to the Welsh line, it would have been a penalty try without any question. But this now becomes a critical kick, because it would take obviously Samoa out to a 7-point lead, which means the Wales will have scored twice and with a try as well to get back in the game.
Lovely work there by Pat Lamb and Stephen Basham with those quick hands, freeing up Brian Lima. Look at the strength of this youngster as he took 2 or 3 Welshmen with him. First of all, he brushed aside his opposite number, and it took 3 of them before they could nail him to the ground. Then in went the Welsh forwards, killing the ball. Mara Afakinen also lucky that perhaps he wasn't penalised. But the first defence came from the Welshman, and so now Matthew Vaya, the most important kick of his career.
Samoa have got to be careful as well, because I think if Mark Ring catches this one and it misses, he'll run it out from defence.
5 metres in from touch, 25-metre kick. This to make it 16 points to 9. That is a superb kick from the little Western Samoan halfback. With just 8 minutes of play remaining, he hasn't really been in the best of goal-kicking form today, but that was absolutely perfect, coming at just at the right moment for Western Samoa. And now the Welshmen have to score twice, as the Western Samoan fans in the crowd here showing their delight at that kick from Matthew Vaya. And suddenly there is an eerie silence here at Cardiff Arms Park, as it may well need the individual brilliance of someone like Mark Ring to spark this Welsh team into action. Are they good enough to score 2 tries in the last 10 minutes? Robert Jones putting the little kick ahead, and Lima elects to allow it to bounce. That could have gone anywhere. There were 3 or 4 Welshmen following up that kick.
On the kick-off, it was a dreadful clearing kick by Tangaloa. I mean, it went right in the middle of the field. I could have sworn he was going for touch.
So the Welsh sweep inside the Western Samoa 22. Vaya gets his kick away. What a splendid game he's had at halfback today.
Yes, he's awfully done terribly well, seeing he's the second-choice goal kicker. He didn't start off the game as goalkeeper, but he and Pat Lamb, I think, have had outstanding games for Western Samoa.
It's Pat Lamb at number 6 in the lineup. What a marvellous season it's been for him. Captain of the champion Maris side of the Auckland club competition. Also played for the Auckland representative side against Western Samoa this year. Ayalupa, who's hardly touched the ball in the second half, but his first attempt sees the ball go loose. Chance here for the Welshmen. They're only a couple of metres short. And again, the Western Samoan defence taking time to regroup, but the whistle is gone.
Robert Jones got the faintest of knock-ons there, and it could be it is a Western Samoa put-in.
So this very big scrum here for Western Samoa. They've had their problems with the scrum in the second half, and that's a very good shove from the Welshman as well. But a very bad feed there. A crooked feed from Matthew Vaya, and an opportunity here for the Welsh. Well, I guess, Jamie, they really must go for the 3 points first.
I would have thought so. I would have taken the kick and gone back to halfway.
But no, they're going for the 6 points. They're using the strength of Phil Davis. He's at the line. What does Mr. Roban say? No try. Well, my first impression there, Jamie, was that he in fact got to the try line, but Roban on the wrong side may not have had the best view of that.
Absolutely right. That's exactly what I thought too. It'd be interesting to see what the replay shows if we get a chance, but with obviously Wales, they are from the line, we're going live.
There was just 5 minutes of the match remaining. The Welsh are not out of this yet. down by 16 points to 9. They need to score twice. Ring, there's room here for Yayan Evans. Try! It's the captain that has galvanised the Welshmen into action, scoring the try, 16 points to 13. But it came from that very strong Welsh scrum, set up by their forwards. Room out on the right wing for Yayan Evans. Lovely pass from Mark Ring, and the Welsh are back in the match. Ring with the little dummy. Timed his pass beautifully to Yayan Evans. No one home on the right wing. It's 16 to 13. Well, obviously the kick was astray while we're looking at the replay. The disappointment from the crowd. And so the Welsh still trailing by 3, but the little bit of magic there from Mark Ring, wrong-footing the Western Samoan defence, giving room for Yayan Evans. He finished it off, and it's been 2 tries apiece.
A draw doesn't really interest Wales either. I think they've got to go for the win.
Lupo kicking the ball as deep as he can. Down to the Welsh line. Ring again. And the Western Samoans keen to keep the ball in the field of play. And the Welsh having to throw the ball around at every opportunity now. As Jamie Salmon said, they need 4 points rather than 3. A draw isn't of much use to them. But in throwing the ball around, they've got to be careful. The Western Samoans appealing for the loose head, but Raban claiming it was a Western Samoan knock-on first.
Western Samoa backs mustn't come up too quickly here, because it's obvious the Wales are going to run it, and they'll probably do a cut-out pass. And if so, if they come up too quickly, they'll be out of the game. Got to run it, Wales.
10 metres outside their 22. Ring dropped by Scott Gibbs. And that's full time. It's all over here at the National Stadium at Cardiff Arms Park. Mr. Raban, who's played very little injury time. Major upset in the World Cup. Here's the happiest man in Wales at the moment, Peter Fadialofa, who's led his side to an historic win in their first appearance at the World Cup. The cradle of the Pacific has become the toast of the world.